I'm gonna try something with Jay, see if he likes this. Jay!
What the f*** is this?
Bodybuilder problems.
How bad is it growing in now?
Oh my god.
Bad?
You're like a chia pet.
You should try shaving my back. That'll take you about 3 weeks.
Larry told me to do Nair.
And so that short led me to Jay Cutler's YouTube channel. I didn't even know he had one. He's very successful. And that led me to the channel trailer with Van Damme. And when you click on it, it doesn't start with splits on a chair. It starts with Jay Cutler's supplement advert. And that led me to his pre-workout supplement. Surely one of the most successful bodybuilders of all time, who has his own supplement line, Cutler Nutrition, is making a high quality pre-workout, surely. What the pros know that the average Joes don't. Hard training requires intense focus to zone in on one thing and one thing only: the muscle you are training. It's not the stim rush of 450 milligrams of caffeine that powers them through their intense grueling sessions, but rather the underappreciated ability to focus on the task at hand to absolutely crush their training session. With a monster dose of alpha GPC coupled with synergistic ingredients such as N-acetyl L-tyrosine and Huperzine A, Prevail puts you in the optimum position mentally to focus and perform at your absolute best. And so I'm not a bodybuilding aficionado, and anytime I ever mention a bodybuilder's name on this channel, I get a minority of fair weather passers through who scream at me. But I have, of course, heard of Jay Cutler. When I was younger, it was Jay Cutler versus Ronnie Coleman. You know, they were the most famous bodybuilders at the time, and he is famous for the quad stomp. And I think he kind of comes across as a friendly, decent guy from the videos that he makes. His Halloween effort was suitably silly. That, to be fair, is how my eyes look when I take my glasses off. Introducing his pre-workout, Prevail. Verb: to be or prove superior in strength, power, or influence. And so I need to start with the 2-scoop issue. And so let us use alpha GPC as an example where the marketing and dose given is for 2 scoops. So you have 750 milligrams in their marketing, but really when people take a supplement, they're considering the amount in 1 scoop. That is standard. And so it's a little bit problematic when you look at his marketing claims for how much they give you, but that's actually in 2 scoops. So that's something you have to be aware of. And another example, again, with L-citrulline, they state 4 grams as their projected amount with the benefits alongside it. And that is, again, 2 scoops. And so if you look at this supplement and the marketing claims they make and the statements they make, we can deduce that a serving size is 2 scoops. And one issue with that is if a serving size is 2 scoops, you're going to get less scoops per container. You're going to have to buy the pre-workout container more often.
All right, so this is my pre-workout Prevail, which is amazing taste. 750 milligrams of alpha GPC per 2 scoops.
And so let's just say you're okay with that. You understand that the marketing claims are coming from 2 scoops. And so what ingredients are they using? And we're going to use 2 scoops as a serving size to see how much they're putting in.
But more importantly, this is not a stim bomb. Most pre-workouts are stim bombs. If you're looking for that crazy, blow your face off type pre-workout, this isn't it. But it is the most effective pre-workout.
And so can I be the first to say that putting your pre-workout in water, mixing it and drinking it is complete madness? That is not TikTok worthy, sir. Prevail was scientifically crafted and formulated to stand apart from the crowd when it comes to pre-workout energy supplements, giving you the edge to go above and beyond your limits by honing in on one key feature: focus. I clearly wasn't focusing when I said honing. Want high amounts of stimulants in a prop blend or a crack powder? I do need some crack powder, to be fair. Bit itchy. Keep looking because you're not finding that here. Damn it. And so Prevail differs by not succumbing to the inferior strategy that other pre-workouts take by loading you up on caffeine and other stimulants at ridiculous dosages that either make your heart race or put you in a cold sweat before you even make it out your car. Rather, Prevail features a unique blend of stimulants and nootropics at researched doses for controlled energy and maximum focus, providing a neurosensory experience you have never experienced before in a pre-workout. Okay, so very strong claims made there. Their differentiation they're putting in there. And so let's do the boring bit, the label. Will this product prevail? Thank you very much. Don't all clap at once. And again, some of these ingredients I've been over many times in previous videos, so I won't go into depth on every ingredient, but please watch my previous videos. I will reference them. And so we start with L-citrulline. I've discussed this before, for example, in this video. And so of course, this aids in nitric oxide synthesis, which simply means more efficient blood flow, and of course the transport of nutrients. And so that is a decent ingredient. But when you look at the label, they don't have malic acid in this list, which is a bit strange because that works synergistically with the L-citrulline. They do have dicaffeine malate in there, which is a combination of caffeine and malic acid. But they do have malic acid over here in the other ingredients, stuffed away in the corner where you can't see the amount. Not very transparent, not very impressive. I'm assuming the fact they put it in there that there's a tiny amount in it. And so not a great start, but anywho, 4,000 milligrams of L-citrulline. I can't believe I said anywho. And so it's underdosed, especially for 2 scoops of a product. And so the evidence base, as I've said before, projects around 6,000 to 8,000 milligrams of L-citrulline. Decent ingredient, poor dose. Not great. And so then we have taurine. Again, I've discussed this before in my NELK pre-workout video. And so this has blood flow applications. And the range we see in the evidence base is 500 to 2,000 milligrams. And Jay comes in at 2,000 milligrams. So that is very well dosed. I have to say, it's not my favorite ingredient. It's not a bad ingredient, but it's not something I think is wonderful. But considering he has decided to put it in, he has dosed it correctly. And so that is good. N-acetyl L-tyrosine. Again, I discussed this in the NELK video. And so L-tyrosine is there to help you with the stresses of your workout. But this is N-acetyl L-tyrosine, so this is an overcomplication of L-tyrosine, and it has no better bioavailability than the standard L-tyrosine, but that's why people put it in, because they're mistaken. And so they have 750 milligrams in 2 scoops. And so considering again that it's 2 scoops, for me, this isn't very well dosed, where we have 500 to 2,000 milligrams used in the evidence base. Again, not a bad ingredient, decent enough, but for me, the dose is very much on the lower end of the spectrum. Then we get to alpha GPC. I refer to my Dan Bilzerian video. However, in this supplement, they are clearly putting it in for performance reasons. And to be fair, there is literature to support performance applications of this ingredient for power output, for example, where we see 300 to 600 milligrams used. And so they put in 750 milligrams. And so the dose is good. You could even say a bit on the high side. And remember the idea of the point of diminishing returns. So putting more of something in doesn't necessarily mean that an ingredient will be more effective. However, of course, you'd rather see that amount in there than something that's underdosed. And so they put it in specifically for performance applications of reaction time, and they cite this study. And I did read through this study, and taking the supplement showed the results of this study indicated that acute ingestion of CRAM can maintain reaction time to both visual and auditory stimuli following a high intensity bout of exhaustive exercise, while subjects consuming a placebo experienced significant reductions in performance. And so we did see a benefit for reaction time of alpha GPC ingestion. However, importantly, the CRAM supplement used didn't just contain alpha GPC. It also contained choline bitartrate, no way in the world with my eyesight I'm going to say that right now, vitamins B3, B6 and B12, folic acid, L-tyrosine, anhydrous caffeine, acetyl L-carnitine, and naringin. Definitely said that wrong. And so most of these ingredients are not in his pre-workout. So it is problematic to use alpha GPC to cite that specific piece of research for the benefit for why you're putting it in your pre-workout, but you don't have the other ingredients that were used in that piece of research. But let's be honest, when references are that small, a lot of people aren't going to read them. And so I'm not very impressed with the way that they use academic research to cite the ingredients, but in this case, I'm just not the biggest fan of this ingredient anyway. And then we have caffeine at 250 milligrams. So that's good, okay? It's ergogenic, it can give you benefits. The standard dose we see is around 200 milligrams. For me, 250 would be a bit high personally, and so your caffeine tolerance comes into play. But dosing 250 milligrams caffeine is not a bad thing. If we're going to go on a scale of bad to good, it is good. Dicaffeine malate. So I've never discussed this before, a combination of caffeine and malic acid. And so here is a study that Jay cites. And so the idea from this review is that by taking this, you have a more prolonged caffeine effect, if you like. But the review didn't show that with clear evidence. And again, there's a massive lack of research into this specific ingredient and performance applications, pre-workouts applications. It is flaky at best. And for me, in no way can you put this ingredient in, make these claims and cite this review paper as strong evidence. It's not good. And when I look at his academic literature he cited, I don't think they've done a good job at all with what they've included. Then we have Neurofactor trademark. And so I don't know about this. This is one of those little trademarked formulas. And this one is a whole coffee fruit extract, not something I've looked into. It may be good, it may not be, out of fairness. And theobromine, again, something I'm not overly familiar with. This is going well. But here is what they state. The feel-good neurotransmitter from dark cocoa, theobromine, brings an uplifting mood and sense of focus that makes you enjoy training. Again, in fairness to Jay, I'm not informed on this ingredient, so it may be very good and it may be well dosed. I'm sorry I can't tell you that. However, what I can say is that when it comes to the claim of enjoying your training, I would say perhaps you don't need a supplement for that. You just need to put on some Rocky and get going. L-theanine, I have discussed this before, a calming ingredient, decent enough to put in where we see around 200 milligrams used in research. 50 milligrams is underdosing it. The dose of that calming ingredient is making me angry. And then we have cocoa seed extract. And so this is a very interesting inclusion. And so this is a beta-2 adrenoceptor agonist. That's easy for me to say. And so in simple terms, it can turn on receptors that leads to the claimed benefits of blood flow applications and an anabolic response with muscle tissue. But to be fair, there isn't evidence base to support this. But as a pre-workout supplement, again for me, it's nowhere near strongly researched enough to be distinctly significant for its inclusion. So for me, again, it's just something I don't think is overly necessary. And then we have huperzine A. I've talked about this before, the cognitive ingredient. Again, it's a decent choice to put in. And at 500 micrograms, it is very well dosed. So well done to them for that. We see around 200 to 400 micrograms used in research. And so this pre-workout for me is like most of them that I come across. This one is not bad at all, but it's not great. It's very much just okay for me. It's run of the mill, but it's certainly not some high quality, unique formulated powder that would warrant all the marketing hype that they state on the website. And at that price point, they can mass produce it. And look, that's what we see in the fitness industry. It has many decent ingredients in there. Some of them very well dosed, some of them underdosed. And so this is nothing against Jay Cutler or bodybuilders or bodybuilding. It was just meant to be a genuine objective analysis of his pre-workout supplement. You are free to buy, of course, if you want, but the purpose of these videos is not to tell you to buy this one or to not buy this one. It's so that you can understand the ingredients and you can apply that to all pre-workouts you come across when you read the labels so that you can make informed decisions and be successful. I'm James Linker. I'll see you soon.